Welcome back to the channel of the Windsurfcoach, and thank you very much for all your support. Even when switching from Dutch to English, you still stuck with me. If you're watching, thank you very much. Alright, this time I want to talk about the biggest. They say it's the biggest race, and I'm not talking about the Devi Winds. It's the biggest catamaran race in the world. And don't switch off, because this will be about windsurfing, windfoiling, winging. Yes, that's true. The biggest catamaran race in the world is the race around Texel. The format for the race is very simple. You have to sail around the island. That's it. It attracts hundreds and hundreds of boats and crew every year, and there is a good reason for it. It has so many challenges like current, wind, waves, you name it, and you'll find it. A few years ago they opened it up to windsurfing and windfoiling, and I still have a score to settle in Texel. I tried it once with this big beast behind me, but I didn't even make the first leg. After 3.5 hours, I didn't make the time limit for the first gate, so they sent me back, and after 5 hours I was back where I started. This year, for the first time during RoundTexel, they opened up the round to wingfoiling. So I had to check it out. I had to get my wing gear and see if I could make it round this time. The island of Texel is only 20 minutes by ferry from the mainland of Holland, but as soon as you enter the ferry, it feels like a different world. For the round Texel, they increase the frequency of the ferries, so the waiting lines will not be that long. If you are lucky, you can spot seals or porpoise, a kind of dolphins, on your way to the island. The weather is fine, so this time I brought my tent, and it will be fine for just 2 days. The race around Texel is pretty popular, and not only by the racers itself, but also a lot of people make it a nice, fun, festive weekend. As every evening during the round of Texel, you have the Waves Festival with lots of music, food and party. The registration ends at Friday at 8 o'clock in the evening, so make sure you'll be there on time. Friday in the afternoon there might not be too much to do for the jury, but in the race office they have loads of things to do, and it's a hotline in there for tomorrow, the big race on Saturday. The start and finish is at Paal 17, and the race will be approximately 100 sailing kilometers long. It's the first time on wing gear, so I estimate the time for the race itself at about 5 to 6 hours to get around the island. And as that's pretty much for me, and I never sail at sea, I hit the sack early, make sure I get something to eat. At 6 o'clock it's rise and shine and off to the beach to make sure the gear is ready before the skipper's meeting at 9 o'clock. When you look around you at the skipper's meeting, it's quite impressive. These are all competitors in the 3 different disciplines: Catamaran, windsurfing, wingfoiling. It's time to collect the trackers. They will allow you to follow the race live via internet. It's a great feature, and besides that, it's also fantastic for the safety. We have more than 50 boats sailing around, making sure we stay safe and get picked up as soon as anything's wrong. "15 minutes after the start of the catamarans, it's a go for the windsurfers and wingfoilers. So let's go! I let all the other wingfoilers get through the break before I enter, because I never do that. I figured out a way to get through the break at my local lake, and it seems to work pretty well for me. I can get the gear up high above the break so I can walk in as deep as possible so I can start. Don't want to get caught in the washing machine of the break with all the foils around. I don't want to hurt myself, and I don't want my gear to be damaged. For me, it's a long distance race. I tried it once, windsurfing on a fin, and that didn't work. After 5 hours of trying, I got back to the place where I started without even making it to the first checkpoint. So this time my goal is to finish the race. The first hurdle will be getting through the break safely. As the wind is only light and cross offshore and we're sheltered by the dunes, you can see almost everybody is struggling to get going. Almost everybody is gone, so I think it's safe to enter. Let's go! I made it through the break, so now the race can start. At this pace I won't make it to the first checkpoint in time, so I need to get onto the foil. I'm dead last, and if I don't want to be the last over the finish line, I have some work to do. I just passed the first winger, that means I'm not last anymore. It feels good to leave the crowded beach behind and just have some fun, relax, and go winging for a few hours. Lucky for me, there's hardly any swell. I'm used to sailing at an almost flat lake, but the chop is quite different to what I'm used to at my home spot. This means I need to stay concentrated not to get a foil out. Preferably I don't use a harness while wingfoiling, but for this long distance race I think I needed it, and I must say it makes life a lot easier, especially upwind. It's also nice to have the trackers, so the home front can see what you're doing, where you're going. It also makes it great for the people who have set up strategically at the beach pavilions or at Ouderschild to watch the race. At least now they know who is who. Starting on the north seaside of Texel Island, the first stint is upwind to the Koksdorp. There are 2 gates there that you need to cross. From there on it should be almost crosswind, slightly upwind, all the way up to the VZ boat. And this is the next point we need to round, and that's the part where we have shallows, so that's going to be tricky. Unfortunately I did get stuck in the shallows, but found a little spot where it was slightly deeper, so I could get onto the foil. I wasted only about 10 minutes, but now I can continue on the downwind leg all the way south via the Waddenzee. I think I managed to overtake about a third of the wingfoil field, and I'm pretty happy with my setup. I chose the 6 square meters wing and the front wing of 1050. As the sun rises, the wind drops and it's pretty difficult to still keep going and stay on the foil. But luckily there are some waves, so you can ride the wave and have some power in your wing, which will help you make it through that downwind leg. Now I'm approximately halfway around the island at the harbor village of Ouderschild, and the first wingers have already finished their race by now. Ouch! That means they're very fast, because it's only 2 hours 30 I think in the race, and they're already around the island. But I just stick to my plan, and that's making it around the island and finishing the race. But if the wind keeps dropping, there will be a point I won't be able to continue to stay on the foil. If that's the case, I'm toast. After 2.5 hours you're already pretty tired, at least I am, and it's really nice to see so many people cheering you on at Ouderschild. They have put the third gate, which you need to pass right at Ouderschild. This was just the little extra energy I needed. I made a really stupid mistake. My food is in my backpack underneath all the other stuff, so if I wanted to get it, it would have taken quite some time, so I decided to continue without it, which meant roughly another 2.5 hours without food and only some water. Despite the sun and the high inland temperatures here at Texel due to the wind over the pretty cold water, it's still pretty chilly, so you need a wetsuit. I just passed the ferries, and it means that I'm on the southern tip of Texel, between Den Helder and Texel, so-called Marsh Deep. The current is pretty strong and it's in the same direction as the wind, which means that the light wind feels even lighter. There's almost no pressure in the wing, so I have to be careful not to get off the foil, because it will be pretty hard to get back on again. But the good news is I'm now 3/4 around Texel. I've never come this far, and this is really great. I can almost smell the finish line. Now I'm even more motivated to make it. Now I only have to make it back from the southern tip to Paal 17, and once you get around the southern tip and you start heading north, you can already see the finish line. It's really clear weather, so you can see for miles. You can see the catamarans on the beach already, and that's Paal 17. That's the finish line. Final leg to the finish line is upwind, and the current is really strong and it's just pushing you back all the time. The wind is light as well, so it's really hard to make any progress. It's so frustrating. I don't want to fail with the finish line in sight. I'm pretty tired, so I make quite a few mistakes, drop off the foil or fall in a jibe, and that sets me back immediately quite a bit. So it's a blessing to finally cross that finish line. Yes, I made it! Completing the round of Texel fraternizes us and leaves us hungry for more. All the participants of the round of Texel have free access to the Waves Festival to celebrate our victory, have some food, dance until the sun goes down. It has been an amazing edition of the round of Texel. Not only did quite a lot of participants finish the race, but also the fastest overall is a windsurfer this year in 2 hours and 5 minutes, I think it was. And even the wingfoilers were quite close behind. The fastest wingfoiler did the round of Texel in 2 hours and 20 minutes. It is really close. Normally the catamarans are way ahead, but this time it was really close.
Congrats! Die moet je even omdoen alsjeblieft voor mij.
Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end and we have to leave Texel behind us. But we take with us great memories that no one will ever take away from us anymore. Oh man, what a glorious feeling that was, finishing the round of Texel, passing the finish line and meeting your friends back there on the beach, cheering you on. That feeling is indescribable. This is one of the greatest races I've ever done in my life, and I've done quite a few races. I hope you liked the video. Did you like it? Please leave a like. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time. See you on the water. It took me almost 5 hours. That means it's a marathon. You should approach this as a marathon. Okay, if you are really good and you're really fast, you can do it in 2.5, 3 hours if the conditions are right. I was really happy to see there were so many boats from the organization and rescue boats. If you got stuck somewhere, within no time there would be a rescue boat or a boat from the organization checking if you were all right. This little baby helped me around the island with a 6 square meters and a 1050 square centimeters front wing. I could easily cruise, and that was what I wanted to do. I didn't need to go fast, even though the foil is fast. I started dead last, really dead last. In the wingfoil field I ended 13th out of the more than 50 competitors, and that's not too bad, so I'm really happy.